large field that started the Kentucky Derby has now been whittled down to just 6. But most people look at it really as just a 3-horse race. They're today's favorites. Kentucky Derby winner Gopher Gin, the Preakness Stakes champion Tabasco Cat, and the odds-on favorite at the moment, Strodes Creek, who ran in the Derby, passed up the Preakness and comes here today well rested. Now, BROCCO is expected to challenge seriously here, but he was scratched this morning on account of a bruised right hoof suffered in training. More on that later on. So let's continue by moving to my ABC Sports partner on these Triple Crown telecasts, Al Michaels. Al?
Dave, in a race of this nature, post positions are really not important, and I think this might be the only place in New York where there are no traffic problems.
Well, in the Kentucky Derby, we had a field of 14, 10 for the Preakness down at Pimlico, but just 6 this afternoon.
Just a half dozen, and let's take a real close look now at each of the horses. First of all, Gopher Gin on a muddy track, nearly gate to wire to win the Derby, and then a terrific performance, but he just came up short in the Preakness.
He is the most consistent of our 3-year-olds. He never throws a bad one in. But in terms of post position, it may not be important in this race, but it's been the most lucky. Number 1 has won more than any other.
Now Strodes Creek, he's the favorite, and Eddie Delahousie would have ridden him. We mentioned that Eddie's been ill, so Jerry Bailey will get them out.
And Jerry has already had 2 wins this afternoon. Al, in the 125-year history of the Belmont Stakes, no horse has ever raced in the Kentucky Derby, rested 5 weeks, and won the Belmont. And he's even money. Why? Charlie Whittingham.
Well, we're going to take a look at Tabasco Cat in just a second. You know, Wayne Lucas is he's great for the sport because I think he's the most articulate of the trainers. He's normally, I think, overly sanguine, but he's kind of been on the fence a little bit about Tabasco Cat. Even though this horse won the Preakness, I think it might even surprise Wayne if he won the Belmont today.
Maybe Tabasco Cat maybe the Preakness took something out of this horse. And Wayne has not had luck here in the Belmont Stakes. He's 0 for 7, and as a matter of fact, his horses have never even been in the money in the Belmont.
Normally a very fractious horse. Charlesy Canty is down there. How's he behaving, Charlesy?
Well, Wayne Lucas kept Tabasco Cat out behind the normal saddling enclosure on the grass, trying to keep him away from the crowd because he is a difficult customer. He's a pretty feisty horse. Wayne spent a lot of time schooling this colt yesterday, both in the paddock and at the starting gate, and he did not behave the way they wanted to at the starting gate. So we might notice today, when these horses load, you're going to see something a little unusual here in New York. ULISES has been a difficult horse at the gate. He will be blindfolded and loaded out of order. He will be first in the gate, then Tabasco Cat will also be loaded out of order. He'll be loaded second. The gate crew here in New York is superior, and I can assure you they will dispatch these 2 problem horses with haste and smoothness. Back to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Charlesy. Let's take a look now at number 3. This is Signal Tap, a horse that's won just $70,000 lifetime.
Because he's only been in 1 stake, and he lost that one. He is the biggest question mark in this field.
The ULISES is not really a question mark. He is the longest shot in the field. He's a horse that figures to go to the front. If he can last 6 furlongs out front, that would be enough, I think, or I can't imagine him going any further than that as we have a shot of him right here, Dave.
And he was a superstar in Panama, winning all 4 of his races down there, but he's 0 for 3 here. The only reason I can find him in here is that his daddy, Temperance Hill, won this race in 1980.
And then there is Amathos. Amathos is being held right now at odds of 12 to 1. A bit of an underlay here. In his last start in late April, he finished second in the Illinois Derby.
And Billy Mott, the trainer, is having such a big day today, is the trainer of Amathos, and it's his first Belmont starter. Mike Smith is the rider of this horse, and of course, Mike was aboard the ill-fated Prairie Bayou in last year's Belmont.
And the winner, sir?
I went with Strodes Creek in the Kentucky Derby. I got to stay with him one more time. Now, you picked Tabasco Cat, the winner of the Preakness. Are you going to stay with him?
Boy, I loved BROCCO today. No, I'm going with Gopher Gin because of the odds at 8 to 5. Charlesy, which horse are you picking?
Well, Al, emotionally, I really would love to see Strodes Creek do it, but the way this track is playing, and as tough as Gopher Gin is, he's going to dominate it on the lead. He'll be tough to catch. Jim, how about you?
Well, I'd like to get a decent price here today. I'm going to go for an exacta box of Gopher Gin and Amathos. Well, we wonder how much more tension the New York sports fans can stand. First, the Rangers on the brink of a 54-year-old dream, lost to Vancouver. They have to try again tonight. The Knicks lost the first game of their NBA final, but they won last night. The Yankees, after a lightning-fast start, have gone into a tailspin. Temporary, they hope. And now, well, now can the New York horse the New York Knight, as his trainer calls him. Can Go for Gin climax his fabulous spring with a Belmont victory? Well, we're going to find that out very soon. Out of the picture now, there he is. Strodes Creek. Remember, he's never won a stakes race. His connections, the Hancocks from Kentucky, Stacy and Arthur III, came here with Sunday Silence, remember, not too long ago, seeking the Triple Crown. It was not to be on that day. Strodes Creek seeking, as we said, once again, his first stakes race win. Bugler Sam Grossman is about to do his stuff. And there they are, coming into view of the big crowd here at Belmont on this overcast afternoon. The field of 6 horses, only 6 for the 126th running of the Belmont Stakes, the oldest race in the Triple Crown series. And the favorite, this horse, Strodes Creek, something of a mystery, and he's run so few times. There he is, with Jerry Bailey aboard, seeking the first win for trainer Charlie Whittingham. Jerry Bailey, of course, won here with Hansel a couple of years ago. Maybe you can hear the guy hollering New York Knicks all the way. The Knicks will get their turn, right? It is horse racing. Still in the shadows there. Coming out now. Just about all the crowd. We'll see them in a moment. Some of the people have been watching them, as I said. And there the scene at the Belmont. So we had my old Kentucky home and Maryland, my Maryland, and now the sidewalks of New York. Now to a man who has trod the sidewalks of New York for lo these many Belmonts, Jack Whitaker.
Thank you very much, Jim. You know, this third leg of the Triple Crown, the Belmont, doesn't have those sentimental appearances of my old Kentucky home derby or the black-eyed Susan panoply of the Preakness. As a matter of fact, most years, the Belmont is only the 9th race on Saturday afternoon to these flinty New York bettors. But sometimes that changes. Sometimes a colt appears that cracks that urban veneer, and New Yorkers fall head over hoofs in love with a horse. It happened with Canyonero II. It happened with Secretariat. It happened with Seattle Slew. And it's happening here this week with Go for Gin. Oh, Go for Gin is a New Yorker, all right. He's owned by 2 New Yorkers. His headquarters are right here at Belmont Park, and he's trained by Nick Zito, whose breeding reads something like this, out of Broadway by Times Square by the Empire State Building. Go for Gin is more New York than the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. He's not quite the betting favorite, but he certainly is a sentimental favorite, and he's my favorite too. I see him at the top of the lane leading the field with Strodes Creek ready to challenge him. It's going to be a heck of an afternoon. Jim?
Okay, Jack, no question about that. Now let's take a look at this field. They're on the track, and their number 1 is the Kentucky Derby winner, Go for Gin. New York's home to him, remember, although he's yet to win at Belmont in 2 previous races here. His jockey, Chris McCarron, well, he's 1 for 5 in the Belmont, having won with Danzig Connection 8 years ago. Number 2, Tabasco Cat, coming off that victory 2 weeks ago in the Preakness. Now remember, his co-owners, Bill Young and David Reynolds, alternate their racing silks on the colt. This week is Bill Young's turn, hence different colors than jockey Pat Day wore in the Preakness. Signal Tap, number 3, with Jose Santos aboard. He seems to be here on the strength of having won an allowance race over this course last month. Not too high a recommendation, but trainer Scotty Schulhofer seemingly never sends a horse to the track simply for the exercise. Neither does Bill Mott, the trainer of Amathos, number 4. Amathos also has the services of Mike Smith, last year's national champion rider of Holy Bull, the losing favorite in the Kentucky Derby, whose trainer and owner, Jimmy Kroll, has chosen not to run him here today. Number 5, moving along, is the long shot ULISES, another speedball from the stable of owner Robert Perez, who's made kind of a habit of bringing such horses to the classics. After leading briefly at the start of the Kentucky Derby, as Al said, ULISES faded to last. And here's the favorite again, Strodes Creek, number 6, carefully groomed for the Belmont since his 2nd place finish in the Kentucky Derby. He's had only 5 starts in his career, as we said, never have finished out of the money, however, and has been improving steadily. Jerry Bailey, as they said, replaces Eddie De La Houssaye on him today because of Eddie's recent illness. Now, BROCCO would have been number 7, but if you haven't heard before, he was scratched this morning because of a bruised right front hoop. He'll be out of action for a couple of weeks.
Gutty horse won the Preakness, but he's the 3rd choice here today. I guess a lot of the people feel that he's going to have a hard time going a mile and a half. What do you think?
Well, I think we're all up in the air as to whether he can do it, but on the other hand, none of them have gone a mile and a half yet. So we're optimistic.
How's he been training?
He's been training fine. Wayne says he's in good a shape as man can make him. Now, what that means in speed and stamina, I can't say.
Bill Young, thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Joe Carnaccia is one of the co-owners of Go for Gin. He was in the winner's circle in '91 at Churchill Downs with Strike the Gold. Again this year with Go for Gin. Does the excitement ever wear off? Are you any less nervous today?
No, I said I wasn't going to get nervous, but I'm as nervous as ever.
What do you think your chances are of getting the mile and a half, as the saying goes?
I like what everybody says. It's our race to win. You know, we got to do it. So the horse is ready. I hope we're all ready. And
okay, good luck, sir. Yeah. Well, the horses are loading. Here we go, the 126 Belmont for the call, Dave Johnston.
And there's Amathos moving in the line, and the last horse, Strodes Creek. Charlie Whittingham had won 13 stakes before Jerry Bailey, the pilot, was ever born. We're ready to go. On the inside, Go for Gin takes the early lead, and Tabasco Cat on the outside is right there, and as expected, Ulysses completes the trio up front. They go to the clubhouse turn. The Derby winner, Go for Gin, is a bit wide here going to the first turn, but he still has the lead, and he's carrying the Preakness winner, Tabasco Cat, wide as Strodes Creek scoots through on the inside and takes advantage of it. Jerry Bailey in a much closer position. He's now back into 3rd. And Ulysses on the outside is racing in the 4th spot, but he's wide. Then it's Signal Tap and Amathos at the back of the pack. It's only 4 lengths, though, from front to back. Go for Gin leads it by less than a length. On the inside, it's Tabasco Cat, 2nd by a head. Ulysses on the outside is 3rd. And then it's Strodes Creek stalking those top 3 runners, a gap of a length and a half. And the trailers, Amathos on the outside, Signal Tap is the trailer. They continue down the backstretch, and it's Go for Gin, Chris McCarron leading it by 3 parts of a length. Tabasco Cat is right there in 2nd. Ulysses staying a close up 3rd, and now Strodes Creek inching up ever closer with Jerry Bailey aboard is 4th along the inside and saving some ground. It's 2.5 back, and Jose Santos moves Signal Tap up into 5th position. Amathos is now the trailer. They go to the far turn. 3/4 in 1:11 and 1, not terribly fast, and it is Go for Gin on the front end and holding that lead, actually drawing off now with about a 2.25 length advantage. Tabasco Cat sits 2nd, 3 back to the favorite Strodes Creek, who is not closing anymore. Along the inside, it's Signal Tap. McCarron looks around and sees that now the competition is going to come from Tabasco Cat. And Tabasco Cat inches out into the 2nd spot. And Strodes Creek with Jerry Bailey asking for more run as they turn for home. Go for Gin again wide at this turn. Tabasco Cat to challenge on the outside. Their noses apart on the front end. And down the stretch they come. Tabasco Cat takes command. Go for Gin on the inside 2nd. Strodes Creek is 3rd and gaining ground in deep, deep stretch. Tabasco Cat digging in, hanging on, winning the Belmont. Go for Gin was 2nd, Strodes Creek 3rd. Wayne Lucas getting the congratulations. Jeff watching at home as Tabasco Cat becomes the 8th horse to win the Preakness and the Belmont. A masterful ride by Pat Day, who lost ground both turns when Go for Gin went wide. And here's Strodes Creek with Jerry Bailey obviously coming up alongside to offer his congratulations on this 126th edition of the Classic. Go for Gin in a gutsy performance finished 2nd. He won the Kentucky Derby and has been so consistent. Chris McCarron was trying for the Belmont again. He won it with Danzig Connection back in '86, but he didn't have it today. And he did surprise, I think, a lot of people with those wide moves on the turn. But he did finish second. And there's the winner, unofficial.
Aboard Tabasco Cat, who has just won the Belmont to go with his victory in the Preakness. Remember, in the Kentucky Derby, he sat down in the gate, got off to a terrible start, had a rough trip. Day was mildly criticized by Wayne Lucas, who now comes into the picture for his ride in the Santa Anita Derby. Wayne felt the horse could have beaten BROCCO that day. It's been a tough couple of years for Wayne Lucas, both emotionally and financially and all of the rest, but a wonderful spring for the dapper, erudite, articulate owner, the trainer of the horse who has just won the Belmont Stakes. Now, let's take a look at the official results. The prices of coming up here as Tabasco Cat goes off as the third choice and pays $8.80, $3.80, and $2.40. Go for Gin went off as the second choice and pays $3 and $2.20. Strodes Creek was the favorite, pays $2.20. The exacta $19.20. The triple $30. Chris McCarron was aboard Go for Gin, who just didn't have enough. Winds up second. He's with Charles C.
Well, it's the second time in a row I've met Chris McCarron after the race, after a defeat by Tabasco Cat. But, Chris, a good effort by Go for Gin. Tell me about the first turn. Everybody was wide there. You started it, I think.
Well, I came out of the gate a little wide, and I just let the colt stay where he was, and I wasn't about to drop in unless I was, forced to. I had a couple horses on my outside, but I wasn't really hindering them any. They just had to race a little wider than I did, that's all. But Go for Gin went comfortably all the way, and I asked him to run. Going into the turn over there, we had about 4.5 furlongs left to go, and Nick told me if I was in the position, let him kick on right there. So I was chirping to him and kind of pecking him on the shoulder a little bit, asking him to go, and he did. He picked it up very nicely. He got his, I don't know, fifth or sixth quarter, whatever it was in there. I don't know how many quarters there are in a mile and a half. Anyway, he ran very well. He fought again. He tried hard coming back on, but he wasn't able to do it.
Dead game pair of colts. Good rides by both of you and Pat Day. Thanks a lot. We'll go back to Al.
Okay, Charles, let's go back to the start with Dave Johnson. Now, Pat Day hustles him out of the gate here, and then McCarron, of course, taking the field almost into the parking lot in the first turn, but a good break from spot number 2 here.
That's Tabasco Cat, the eventual winner. Easy to follow with the white blinkers. Go for Gin, who Chris McCarron just told us he was a bit wide. A hair off slowly with Strodes Creek, but really not hindered by that start. In the red cap there, that's ULISES, who forced the fractions, and here's your eventual winner right there. That is Tabasco Cat, but you can see it's a long way from the rail out to Go for Gin. Strodes Creek, Jerry Bailey taking advantage of that little room there on the inside, and then they move down the backstretch with Go for Gin in front.
And it's a classic case of a horse stalking all the way. That's the adjective most appropriate to use, as Day and Tabasco Cat just hung right there, waited for the opportune time to go, and away they went.
And Strodes Creek at this point dropped back, but he made a menacing move, and it almost looked like a winning move a bit later, but it was not to be. Go for Gin, though, is on an easy lead here, and Tabasco Cat just stalking him.
They went the half in 47-2. They went 6 furlongs in 111-1. The mile in 136-2. And there was McCarron looking back, and of course all of the pressure was coming from the right side, from outside Tabasco Cat. And here he goes. He gets ready to roll here.
I'll bet Wayne Lucas has been under pressure since he won that Grade 1 back in October '91, and then didn't win another Grade 1 until the Preakness. But watch it here as he also adds the Belmont. The drought is over. And Hansel is the last horse who won the Preakness and the Belmont. Now Tabasco Cat home in 2:26-4. That's the same time it took Affirmed to race the mile and a half as he won his Belmont Stakes. Home free, though. That is Tabasco Cat. Pat Day winning his second. He took it with Easy Goer. He wins it now with Tabasco Cat.
He's the 8th horse to win the Preakness and the Belmont without having won the Derby. Reynolds and Young, the winning tandem. The owners right there watching their horse, along with a very pensive, quiet, totally under control Wayne Lucas. What a reaction. And then there's Nick Zito, of course, who is as emotional as any owner in the history of horse racing, perhaps. And speaking with Joe Carnaccia, Bill Condren is the other co-owner, and Nick Zito knowing that his horse again coming up just a little short in almost a replay of Baltimore. And a little handshake right there. Young, of course, one of the owners with McCarran, Bailey, Day. And a look now at the order of finish here as Tabasco Cat wins it by 2 lengths over Go for Gin. He won it by 3 parts of a length in the Preakness. Strodes Creek finishes third, 3 back. Signal Tap was 7 back. Amathos trailed by 12, and it figured that ULISES, who made a little bit of a run early on, finished dead last, 47 lengths behind the winner Tabasco Cat. Let's check in again with Charlie.
Well, we spoke earlier with Charlie Whittingham about some of the not-so-great luck he's had back here on the East Coast, and it continued today. Strodes Creek got off to a little bit of a slow start, but then he made a great move and was making what you all referred to as a menacing move, turning for home. But Charlie said that when he got to the head of the stretch and all the people in the grandstand, he's a very green and experienced colt, and he kind of ducked from the wall of sound, and it cost him. What happens in the end is the Triple Crown, the races, the Belmont in particular, you need that experience, you need that toughness, you need that stamina, and those were the 2 colts who finished 1-2. Back to you.
Thank you very much, and everybody is here right beside me. Alan Dragone, the chairman of the New York Racing Association. Another great day, Alan. Congratulations on that.
Yes, we're very proud of it. Great day.
My other side, Matilda Cuomo, the First Lady of New York State. It's a great pleasure to have you with us today.
Thrilling, the most thrilling race, really. The Belmont Park is a treasure, and these wonderful gentlemen here, the winners, Bill Young and David Reynolds, what a thrill.
I think they're eagerly awaiting their trophy.
I think so.
Why don't you give it to them?
I think so. Okay. I'd love to. What a privilege.
Okay, well, that's the big one. I don't think anybody's going to be able to lift that up. But you get the plate. Bill, congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
I know you guys alternate colors. We pointed that out. So it's your week this time.
That's right.
You know something about patience. Remember you told me one time when you started selling your peanut butter store to store, it took you 10 tries to get the A&P in your hometown. Well, you put a lot into this sport, and it's paid off the last 2 races.
Well, it's another great big thrill. I thought the Preakness was the top, but I think the effect is cumulative. So this has just added one thrill to another. But it's a great day. It's nice to be in New York.
Yes,
okay, David Reynolds, you know you had your silks in the Preakness. You get the next time.
That's right. We alternate, but we're happy whichever one's there. He's won a couple of real big ones with his, and I've won a couple with mine, and we're both happy.
Well, the great thing that David's colors are down at Pimlico, and that's his home track.
That's right.
So he can look at them all year.
Okay. Congratulations to both of you again. Wayne, this has been some year for you. I mean, in the 80s, you were the most successful trainer in the game. You had all kinds of victories, all kinds of wins. Then you went about, what, 2.5 years without a Grade 1 stakes
not
win?
Quite that long.
Well, it was pretty long, maybe 1.5.
Longer than I'd like to remember. Let's not call the date. Yeah. I was kidding one of the guys coming through up to the table up here. I said it's a long ways from Ruidoso, New Mexico in a 350-yard quarter horse race to 1.5 miles in New York City in the Belmont.
Okay, thank you very much. Wayne Lukas, winner of the Belmont for the first time, winner of the Preakness and the Belmont. Bill Young, David Reynolds, everybody. It's the end of the Triple Crown. Thanks for being with us.